Hi everybody and welcome back. Thanks for joining me here today. What I want to talk about is, are you always right? Do you need to be right? Do you feel afraid of being wrong? The reason why I've chosen this subject to talk about today is because that's how I feel. That's how I felt. That's why I'm working on changing how I feel. Because through my late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, I would say that I was really terrified of being wrong. To the point where I wouldn't even engage in discussion with anybody who I thought was going to try to prove me wrong, because my fragile ego could not handle it. Our egos stake tremendous value on being right. In fact, this makes sense from a biological sense, because there was a time not that long ago when being proved deeply wrong or being outcast from your tribe, from your society, really did mean danger and death. So there is an actual survival element to this instinct to want to be right, or at least be accepted by our tribe. And obviously this is still important. If you're a human being living in society today, you are reliant on the people around you. We are an organism. The human race is like this giant organism that works together to create everything that we create, to sustain ourselves, to sustain each other. We're doing it together. So to be accepted by the organism that sustains you is only logical. It makes sense for your survival. What I want to talk about, though, is these little times when somebody presents something that shakes the foundation of your belief system, and you feel afraid, you feel angry. You do not want to hear that information. Why is that? Aside from what I was just talking about, the survival instincts, it also has to do with the survival of the ego. So the survival of the ego, basing its value, its pride, on the perceived correctness, the acceptance of the viewpoints it is expressing. So, what am I actually saying here? What can be done? What are the action steps? A couple things. For me, one of the most important things is to really deeply accept and even embrace the times when I'm wrong. Why would I want to do that? Well, I'll tell you. Because if I am wrong about something, if I'm deeply mistaken about something in my life, and I'm protecting myself from all information that could tell me otherwise, then what's going to happen? I'm going to continue to be wrong. I'm going to continue to hold that belief that may be preventing me from taking the next step, from making an important connection, from moving forward with my life or my fitness or my relationship. So if I'm wrong about something, I want to know. It's hard for me sometimes because I'm sensitive. It hurts me to be wrong. But in my mind, in my heart, I am accepting that it is a movement forwards, not backwards. In our interactions with people, our goal should be to seek truth, not to win the argument, to win the conversation. If your goal is to win the conversation, chances are you have some of this going on. Speaking and not listening. And when two sides are doing that in the conversation, you're both just yelling at each other. It's really annoying to listen to when you're the third person there. I've noticed this, especially with alcohol. There's oftentimes the two sides of the conversation are just getting louder and louder and louder, and they both have their ears closed, not listening to what the other person is saying. There's also something that being in a romantic relationship, being married, is really teaching me about, is that I'm not seeking to be right when I'm having a disagreement with my wife. What I'm seeking is to come to an agreement, come to some shared truth that we can both look at and say, yes, that feels good. Instead of trying to prove her wrong, prove myself right. Because what good is that really doing? If it's about winning, then it's not necessarily helping. But this needs to go both ways. If the other person is not willing to change their mind, to look at some other version of the truth, to look at the potential that what they believe is incorrect, it's going to be hard to do this work with that person. So really the point of this video for me is to talk through some of the things that I'm working on, to encourage you to think about, to look at the same thing in your life, and most importantly, for us to listen to each other. Really listen to each other. Not just be talking with our ears shut like this. It can make a world of a difference. Imagine if we were doing this on a large scale, on a global scale. If all the countries were doing this. Because another thing that I know is that reality is subjective. Two people can look at the exact same situation, and since they're looking at it from different angles, they can see something completely different. Everything is filtered through our perception. So you could be arguing with somebody, seeing the same thing, filtering it through your different filters, and you could both be right. You could both be right and still be battling, trying to say, no, my truth is better than your truth. My truth is brighter than your truth. Sounds ridiculous to say. I've never said that before. So that's my message for today. Thank you for your precious attention, for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it.